Tammy here, just stopping by to do a quick Craftroom collaboration. This is being put on by Jessie with Paper to Masterpiece, and what we're talking about this week is mixed media. So I just wanted to hop on and show you some mixed media and pieces and talk about exactly what mixed media is versus collaging, which I think we tend to do more of the collaging in papercraft than we do actual mixed media. So mixed media is about the different forms of mediums that you use. So let's say here's a piece that I did a long time ago. But anyway, so you have your paper and then you stamp on it. Okay, so stamping is like one part of the mixed media. But then you color in either with acrylic paint or any type of paint, watercolor, whatever. You color that in and then you add elements such as these, I think these are probably Nuvo drops, or no, this is gel pen. So all of this here is gel pen, all of these three-dimensional drops and stuff. So and then down here the grass, that's gel pen. So you have more than one medium. You're not just painting. It could be drawing and then painting, watercolor, acrylics, pastels. You can combine acrylics with pastels. That's actually mixed media. So that is just simply you're just using different forms of medium in the art world. Now with paper crafting, a lot of people are calling their paper crafts mixed media, and I'm kind of like on the fence with that because I'm not really sure, just from my experience doing artwork and stuff, that mixed media is one thing and then collaging is more what I see paper crafties do. So collaging would be like this, but then you're adding three-dimensional elements. So on this one, it's mixed media. There's paper, there's paint, there's gel pen, there's ink from the stamping, and then, coloring it in or whatever. So that's more mixed media. Here's another mixed media piece that I did, and this one has, it has paper on the bottom, and I think this one's craft paper too, but it's a little shiny because it's in a frame. But so I drew on it here. I drew the tree. I stamped the moon. I drew the little hill. I used a stencil on this, so there's paint, and then there's gel pens, and there's embossing, and there's glitter, and then there's some little gems or whatever. So that could be considered collaging, but collaging is putting a bunch of different elements and images together to make a new piece. So you're forming a new image using different elements, so 3D elements, and then painting and stuff. Yeah, the base of that could be considered mixed media, but then you start building it up with stuff like flowers and lace and images, digital images, whatever, stamped images that you color in, and you start building it up. Then that's more of a collage. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So is this mixed media? Well, not really, because there's no painting. The only thing I did was I colored in with Copic markers, and so I stamped the image, I colored it in with Copic markers, but then it's a 3D element. So I made the shaker part, I put paper down, I used distressed ink around the sides. That could be considered mixed media because that's a medium. The Copic markers, that's a medium. So it's a little bit of both, but this is more of a collage because I'm adding elements, 3D elements, and I'm building up the image to make it a new image. So that's what that is. And then here's one that I did that might be considered mixed media, but then I added the flower elements, the 3D elements, and then it turns it into like a collage. So there's a lot of misconception about what mixed media is, and I think it's just up to the person that's making the piece to determine if they want to call it mixed media or collage. Now, I would call this piece mixed media because the 3D elements that I added, yeah, that's collage, but it's not really, it's not building a new image. So the collage part of this is I painted this wood piece, this wood block, and then I put paper over it, and then I stamped and I used a stencil to get this image here. I put some of this here. I forgot what this is called, but and then I did a gold paint pen around the edges to give it that border. And then I added this T and I colored that in. I put paper on it, and I used Mod Podge to adhere that down. And then I used a gold paint pen. So that's mixed media. And then I added this little strip, do what you love what you do. It's my favorite saying. And so this would be, I guess, considered more mixed media because the 3D element that I'm adding isn't really creating the image. It's just adding to the piece. So I would consider this mixed media because of all the different mediums that I used on the base of the picture of the image. So it's kind of like it's up to you to decide. It's at your discretion what you call something. So let's see, here's another piece. So is this mixed media or is this collage? Well, I didn't really do a whole lot of using different mediums, I guess you could say, but I kind of did. I mean, there's paint. I spray painted the cutting board. I used distress ink. I embossed with gold glitter powder there. I stamped here. I used my, what is that called? My Spectrum Noir glitter pen on the fairy. More distressed ink around the edges. But then I added the 3D elements to the piece. So this is more, I would say this is more of a collage. Because you're building up the piece. It's not just paper and paint, or the different mediums like stencil texture paste, or all the different kinds of paste that you can use to make 3D elements on a piece or whatever. That would be considered mixed media. So anyway, I would consider this personally probably a mixed media collage piece, but that, again, that's at the owner's, the person who makes it, that's at their discretion. So so there's mixed media art, which refers to, like I said, like it's a visual art form, and you combine different medias into that single piece of artwork. Okay, so mixed media has been around since 1912. I think it was Picasso, and there was another artist that started creating with different medias. They didn't just use one form of paint. They incorporated different things into their art pieces. And so that's when mixed media start. It's not a new concept. It's been around forever. But it's been in the art world longer than in the paper crafting world. And in the paper crafting world, mixed media is, I think, fairly new. I've never heard the phrase mixed media in the paper crafting world until I started doing paper crafting probably a few years ago. So I had always referred to mixed media as a form of art. So there's a lot, I think as paper crafters, we're not really sure of different concepts and stuff, and so we start incorporating those concepts into what we're doing, and we're like, oh, look at my mixed media piece, when it's really just a collage, which is part of the mixed media world, but it's a different form of mixed media. So there's tons of different things that you can use. Say that you did a tag, and all you did on the tag was let's say you painted it, you stenciled some images onto it, then you stamped an image, you cut that image out, and then you adhered that to the piece. I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about. This isn't a tag, this is a picture I did that's hanging in my craft room, but so like this. So I painted the base of this, and then I used distressed ink for the different, hues of blue to purple. And then let's see, what did I do? I think I stenciled the stars, and then I stenciled with glitter paste through a stencil these stars here that are all shiny and glimmery. And then I think I stamped out this and then used gel pen for the dots. And then I die cut these little stars and put those on there. I drew around the edges. This is a stamped image that I colored in with Copic markers, and then I used stickles to give it some of that, the little glitter effects on the stars and the wings and the heart and stuff. And then I put that together. This is flat, so it's not really a collage because it's not 3D. This would be considered mixed media. Okay, so if you did that on a tag, or say an ATC, or say a memory dex card, and that's all you didn't add the 3D elements and stuff, that would be considered mixed media. Okay, now you start adding, say, you start adding 3D elements to this, flowers or whatever it is that you can think of, lace or ribbon or whatever, that's collage. Okay, so anyway, but that is my collaboration for this week, and I decided not to do an actual project because I feel like I have enough laying around that I could explain what I was trying to get at as far as mixed media. So there are, in mixed media, there's assemblages and there's collages, which are both art forms. They use different materials, and assemblage is more of a construction piece of art than a collage. So like I said, collage is just laying down elements and building up your image and creating a new image. Assemblage is like what you would see in a museum, where it's actually constructed, and it's a 3D. So but like mixed media has always been referred to in the art world for painting, and it's probably one of the most popular art forms because there's so much that you can do. So you can use alcohol-based paints, you can use salt. There's just so many possibilities, but again, it's flat. It's not, I mean, yes, I've seen it where people, like, they put tissue paper down and then they put texture paste over that and then they paint that, and that still, to me personally, that's my opinion and my opinion only. It's more of a mixed media collage than straight mixed media. So anyway, there's mixing watercolors with pastels or acrylic paints, layering paper onto wood into your artwork, like what I talked about here. That's mixed media. There's just so many different techniques and stuff that you can do. So paper is, I don't know, paper crafting to me is paper crafting, and calling something mixed media is, I just feel like it's part of the art world, not the paper crafting world. But again, that's just my opinion. So anyway, but It's just about layering different mediums is all it is. So if you want to call your piece a mixed media piece, call it a mixed media piece. If you want to call it a collage, call it a collage. It's it's all in the eye of the beholder. So however you want to call that, but there, you can research it. There's tons of videos, um, on YouTube, online. I took art in college, so when I was doing artwork, I always, my mixed media pieces, I never thought about the ones that I added elements to, 3D elements and stuff as mixed media, but that's more and more popular. So you see it a lot on YouTube. These mixed media artists who just do phenomenal work, and they're building up the layers on their pieces um, to make a new image. And to me, that's more mixed media collage than it is mixed media. So anyway, but that's my take on the mixed media thing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave those below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, please like my video, and if you hit the bell icon next to the subscribe, you'll be notified when I do upload new videos. But anyway, if you have any questions regarding the mixed media versus collage, especially in the paper crafting world, please reach out to me. My email is in my bio. You can leave a comment below. I respond to all comments, and I answer all questions. So anyway, the next person in line to do the mixed media, part of the mixed media Craftroom collaboration, is Anna Rodriguez, and she's with My Crafting World, and she'll be doing her live. I think she's doing a live on Thursday at 4. I'm not really sure what her time zone is, so if you subscribe to her channel, make sure that you check your subscription notifications to see exactly what time zone she's in, so that you don't miss that. But she'll be on Thursday talking about mixed media. Again, this Craftroom collaboration is put on by Jessie with Paper Masterpiece, and I'm going to put links to everybody's YouTube channels that I've talked about below in the description. And the person who went before me was Danielle with Pink Zebra, the Unicorn Crafter, and she did a tag, which is she had some mixed media elements in there, and then she had some collaging. So like I said, it's up to you to decide what you want to call something. There's no right, there's no wrong. This is just all based on my personal opinion and my experience in the art world and the paper crafting world. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope everyone's having a blessed day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and I will talk to you all soon.